Congratulations, you made it. Can you believe you've been working for this day? And now it's May, and time for the final reading map test of the year. But don't worry, you've been working towards this all year. We started off our year studying narratives, and we determined that narrative is a synonym for story. We examined the parts of a story and how a narrator is involved or not involved in that story. We learned that in the exposition, characters such as Greek gods or a girl and her squirrel are introduced, as well as the setting, whether it's ancient Greece or a modern-day neighborhood. The excitement of the story begins with the inciting incident and builds during the rising action until the story reaches its climax. This main struggle could be against other people or gods, or it may be internal, like Pandora trying to decide if she should open that box. After the most intense part of a story, there is usually some falling action, followed by the resolution or final wrap-up. We read short stories and an entire novel, all the while learning new words and word parts. While reading, we explored how authors use figurative language to better describe a scene, and how the words authors choose create a specific tone that can influence the mood of the reader. You worked on your own writing skills, practicing how to show the reader what is happening in a story through dialogue, description, vivid verbs, and internal thoughts. You wrote amazing stories about heroes using the elements of a story, good description, and dialogue. Then we began quarter 2 and our study of informative text. We continued reading stories, but focused on comparing and contrasting parts of these stories with, for example, a painting. We used our own lives as a basis for more compare and contrast writing, and continued to read stories about different family experiences. We read poetry by Muhammad Ali and learned how to discuss our ideas in a Socratic seminar. We got a lot of writing practice, working together as a class and in small groups. In quarter 3, we started the article of the week and practiced test-taking strategies such as looking for keywords in a question, eliminating ridiculous answers, replacing words in the question with the word in the answer, reading all the answers before answering, using previous questions and captions to help you, and being careful with questions designed to trick you. You worked hard to improve your scores. We also studied argumentative writing, starting with your crazy arguments for who would make the best supreme leader of the universe. You researched a topic of your choice and read articles to see how authors use evidence to support their claims. You researched more about your topic, forming your own claims, and finding evidence to make a strong argument. You learned how to include a quote from an expert by using appositives that add credibility. You made sure to write your arguments in a formal tone. When you finished your paper, you learned the correct format for your bibliography or list of references. You also explored bias and how it may influence how people report information. After all of your hard work writing an argument, you shared what you learned with classmates by giving a short presentation. In fourth quarter, we continued with the article of the week and more strategies for using evidence in the text to determine the correct answer for each question. With some articles, we practiced looking for cause and effect. Then, we started gearing up for our final novel of the year by watching a documentary and reading poems written during the Harlem Renaissance. We studied how characters are influenced by events as well as other characters, while learning new vocabulary and reviewing figurative language. We focused on word roots, prefixes, and suffixes, and reviewed the words we had learned and practiced throughout the year. You showed off the fabulous knowledge you gained this year on our vocabulary post-test. And we kept reviewing what we've learned so that you could come into this final map test with a calm confidence. So believe in yourself. You've put a lot of work in this year to prepare you for today. You've got this. All we can ask is that you do your best. No matter what happens, remember that you have many wonderful qualities that aren't measured on this test. Remember that you are amazing and do an amazing job on today's test.